How you doing, crazy peeps? Crazy root beer here. And today, as you know, for the first time in nearly a decade, I'm going live, baby. Yes, sir. And I hope you enjoy it with me. And if you want to talk, ask questions, whatever it may be, go for it. There's a chat right there. Just do it already. Now, obviously, recently I've been writing books, as I told you before in one of the past videos, and I've been streaming on another YouTuber stream. I know that feels naked for me to say I'm on another YouTuber thing, but it's okay. But uh, luckily, he was able to come here because I asked him if he would join me today for the very first stream. He agreed to be the guinea pig. Awesome. So, I have been in that world, the world of writing books, and it has been a lot of fun on his channel. But let's see how he does in mine. Please help me welcome good friend Kauffman. Kauffman, welcome.
Hey, what's up, my friends? Glad to be here. Glad to be the guinea pig writer. I was there myself much long ago, and I love talking about writing. I'm trying to match your level here, crazy.
That's okay. You do what you gotta do. Yeah, yeah. You either get up there or not. It's totally fine. You be you. You do what you gotta do. You just be you. It's okay if you can't match the level.
If I can't
Nobody's
match the level of crazy,
eh,
I'll
yeah.
I'll, I'll match the level of the writinator for the day.
There we go. Just be yourself. Be your writing self. That is good. That is good. So, for those who do not know, why don't you tell us about yourself and about your YouTube channel?
Absolutely. So, first off, crazy, thank you so much for having me. I always love chatting with you on our Wednesday writers groups. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kauffman, and I'm on a mission to help the unpublished writers of the world with the process, lifestyle, and mindset that it takes to be an author. I do that over on the Right Now YouTube channel. We are a daily writing motivational channel, and I think today is day 285 of consecutive writing live streams. So we got crazy stuff, whether there's like author interviews, we got a writers group where I met crazy through. We have some huge holiday events. We got a fiction contest, we got a choose your own adventure event. We have literally all the things. And this is only the beginning, my friends. So I'm glad to be here. I love writing. And crazy, I don't know if I've told you this before, but I actually started the reason I started the live streaming process is because, well, I've been a writer my entire life and I've always written. There's been months where I would write a lot,
Hmm.
months where I would write a little. And one of my problems as a writer is that I would struggle with finishing certain stories. So going to this year, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do differently? All right, is it possible for me to write every day for a year? And then I asked myself, yes. How do I hold myself accountable? Live streaming. I'm like, okay, if I live stream every day, I'll feel like I'll have to show up and I can't like get out of it. And if I'm live streaming, I can't lie about writing. But I'm like, okay, well, even if I just hop on a camera, I can't prove that. So I'm like, okay, what if I share my screen as I'm writing the book?
Hmm.
And hence the writing live streams were born.
Very nice. Very nice. And it's always fun getting on uh, the Wednesday streams. It's always fun
Mhm.
doing those. Um, since the rest of my week is usually pretty busy nowadays.
I know it's like trying to balance the crazy shenanigans of life with the writing process.
Yeah. As for me, I've uh, taken I did take a little bit of a break from my writing,
Mhm.
and then eventually after taking that break of like deep breath, now you can just go about your day writing at least
Mhm.
one chapter a day instead of like millions that I will probably never do, but I'm sure our dear friend Chat Soul will. But but then eventually still slowly trying to get back into it. That's why sometimes some of the books I write are kind of slow getting there, but that is okay. Still a lot of planning in my brain and still a lot of fixing with my books of like,
Mhm.
no, that doesn't make sense. But why?
But I'm also super inspired though because aren't you on like book 5 or 6 of your series?
Um, I
I forgot
should
which book you
be.
said you're on, but like you've made some incredible progress on your book overall. I'm still on book 1.
Well, that's probably because and I do this because there's an author, um, James, I think James Patterson, who wrote um the Maximum Ride books.
Mhm.
For him, he doesn't write like what I know now to be called short stories, but the way he
Mm,
writes his chapters, um, he writes them like very short, not like your normal books of how many pages it is till you get to the um the next chapter. He does it
mhm,
for pretty short amount of time, and that made me go like, I like his writing style of that, of shortening
mm,
those chapters in case there's somewhere you gotta go, you gotta be quick,
mhm.
and you could just pause after like I think usually his chapters are like a page or so long, so that's where I kind of kept in mind.
Okay.
Um, and for book wise of how many books, it looks like um uh nope, I
You're
don't
like
want
maybe
to.
maybe pull it up here. You
Maybe.
Well, I think this is one of the things that I love about the writing process is
Yep,
there's no right or wrong way to write a book. There's
that is
no
true.
right or wrong way to tell a story. I think there's a lot of best practices, there's a lot of techniques, there's a lot of methods. I'm sure some authors will tell you there's a way to write stuff, but the cool thing is
Mhm.
there's so many different methods out there, and I believe that every writer, like the fun part is you get to choose your process. You pick
Yes,
and choose the things from different authors that you think work. You don't do the other things. One system that works for one person won't work for another. And I think that's cool. You get to create your own process, and then that helps you tell the story you want to tell.
true, true. And also, I'm on book 8 right now.
Ooh, that's exciting. Dang.
Yes.
So I'm curious, crazy. Can you I know we've talked about your book a little bit, but
Mhm.
what's the overall story about? Refresh me again.
Well,
Do you have a blurb for it? Where's the blurb? Where's the book website so we can go buy the first book?
I'd have to look it up on here if possible. But um, so far, this journey that I'm on of
Mhm,
this whole series, Heavenly Warriors is what it's called.
mhm,
Um, it has basically right now is kind of like an somewhat introduction to all the heroes for
mhm,
now of like this is who such and such is
mhm,
uh um and this is how he got his stuff kind of started,
mhm,
and we have the main vampire of the very first book, Raziel, from the
mhm,
Raziel Chronicles. um
mm,
and his story, his trilogy, because I ended that trilogy and it still makes me
mhm.
want to cry. But it was honestly
So sad.
so far one of my all-time favorite books to write, and I
Mhm.
kind of hated ending it, but my brain keeps
No.
giving me that tickle of like, "Sh- maybe if people will forget, you could still kind of make a new one." But then I'm like, no, I don't want cheap people out of that, like Hollywood does sometimes. But
Maybe people forget.
yeah, but his stories, his trilogy takes place in the I want to say the late 1400s.
Okay.
Um, and I even mention um, that because I also like to look up information of trying. I'd like to try if I write some of those stories. I like to try to make sure that some of the things I look up are true, not
Mhm,
like just make it up, as you go, which I do make some stuff up as I go, but for like um, what happened? Did was this weapon created at this time? I want to
Mhm.
make sure that I do that right, do that correctly.
Mm.
Um, and again, Google is our friend for that. Um, but
I could totally see that, and I think that goes into researching, right? And I think that goes into researching and understanding, like, okay, if I'm going to create a sword, if I'm gonna have use a certain type of character,
mhm,
what's like obviously we can use our imaginations and we use creativity to an extent,
yeah,
but then to layer on the believability of it, if I myself have never used a sword, how do
mhm,
I create a character that can use a sword correctly?
mhm,
Obviously, we can rely on the a lifetime of what we've seen in the media as
yes,
reference, but I think layering on like that research of Google research or AI or however you want to go about the research portion of it to better understand. So then when the reader's reading it, it feels like a believable experience.
yes. And
Mhm.
besides Raziel, for the characters so far, there's also a character named Angel, but he has to obviously come up with a name of his own when he comes to our world. So he comes up
Mhm.
with Brad. I didn't know what other name to pick. I just chose that.
Wait. What's his real name?
His real name is Angel because he comes from someplace else, but he had to
I
choose.
absolutely love that is so hilarious. His
He
name's
had
Angel, but he goes to the human world and he's like, well,
Yep.
what's a good name, Brad?
And believe me,
That's
I
really
even
funny.
there's
It's really
even a
funny.
chapter that I write when he first tells somebody that name Brad that I even make sure that I even point that out. It's like, Brad, really? I couldn't. I even write down as if I'm Angel saying, I couldn't really think of anything else than Brad. Really? That's that
Oh my
doesn't feel
god, that's
right, but
funny.
okay, I guess I'll go with it. But um obviously he comes into our world because his world was mysteriously uh in a way getting destroyed by this unknown darkness that
Okay.
nobody is used to because it's always, as he likes to call it, the perfect world where if you want to be if you want to be in your 20s, by golly, you can be in your 20s. If you want to say, oh, I live in a mansion and this is a place where money doesn't exist, this is total freedom, boom, you got a
Mhm.
mansion. You got a Lego mansion if you wanted. Who cares? And so it's always been a happy place. But then
Mhm.
recently his um that world turned to darkness. Everybody freaked out. Nobody knew why it was happening. Nobody really understood it.
Interesting. Okay.
And the next thing you know, everything he wanted to be like, I'll stop this darkness. He started to fly towards this black, massive cloud he saw in the horizon. And next thing you know, everything goes dark. And he wakes up in our world, not knowing what
Wow, I
happened.
like that. I like that as like a setup. That's like a cool like and is that in the beginning of the book or is that just the backstory?
It's the beginning of the book.
It's the beginning of the book. Okay,
Yes.
that's a cool setup. That's a really so then does the overall series follow like the like the battles in the real world of
It
these characters?
yeah, it follows it follows their uh I wouldn't say somewhat missions of just like how they got to where they are.
Mhm.
And except for Raziel, Raziel is kind of was is still kind of tricky of where the trilogy ended. It's like, okay, so that's how you're going to end that. But never to fear, some of the characters from that trilogy are in other books.
Mhm.
Um, and so they kind of coincide because it's all in one world, our
Mhm.
world, obviously. But but it kind of this series for now kind of shows how each character uh, became who they are for a
Mhm.
while. For now, that is, they're still kind
Okay.
of new at some of this because obviously they're most of their adventures, except for Raziel's, um, as cliche as this is, and I would totally agree with anybody who would agree with this, as cliche as it is, um, so far, at least a couple of them, maybe most, I don't know
Mhm.
yet, have come to our world because their world has been destroyed.
Okay.
And that's what happens with our another character. Uh, he doesn't really, well, he kind of does have a name, but in his planet, which I call the alien, in his planet, all of their names are the letter T.
Interesting.
And
So the planet itself is called the Alien.
well, no,
Uh,
the planet, I don't think I really quite know what the planet was called or if I gave it a
okay.
name, but
So
the
just
book
haven't given it's
itself,
kind of like nameless or just
yeah,
not really important.
yeah,
So
and the,
so every alien or every character in that world, their name starts with a T.
yes, and
Okay.
and I even talked to my buddy. Hi, Patrick. You know what I'm talking about here.
Oh,
Um, I told him his original name, and we both kind of cracked up. And I was like, "Yeah, that does kind of sound like a really Y name." But I his name originally, I dare not say. That one you'd have to find out for yourself, which is not in the first book. Um,
dang. Good
but he,
good mention there.
I
You're like,
know.
oh, you can you have to read the second book. And by the way, you can go by the book this link right here.
And
Do you have I'm curious, Crazy. Do you have any like sample chapters or do you have any samples of the first book that you have available for writers or readers who want to like check out the book at all?
um, no, I don't
I
think
know
so.
writers don't always do that, but I was just kind of
No.
curious.
No, but I could read at least from Razia, if that is what you're referring to.
Mhm,
I could read a little, like a little sentence talking about a different character that is besides Raziel.
mhm,
She is one of my all-time favorites to write about because
mhm.
she is really messed up in there. And what I'm not just saying the kind of messed up where she's like another how do I put this? What's her name? Harley Quinn.
Mhm.
I'm
Oh yeah,
talking
yeah.
like the kind of
Mhm.
messed up that makes you go like, um,
Dang.
I
Yeah, she's that so
my
she's a
bad.
more like well Harley Quinn is granted I'm not actually too familiar as I'm not as familiar with Harley Quinn because I don't do DC quite as often.
True, me
But
neither.
from what I are you a DC fan?
No, I am actually more of a Marvel fan.
Yeah, I tend to go more Marvel too, but I mean Harley Quinn
Mhm,
is a predominant female DC character, and I actually think she is a very interesting character. I
mm,
just don't know her background too much. But I know her style is known for being this crazy chick, and that she has some type of really messed up background. She's
mhm,
very much about creating chaos the the Joker, right?
mhm, mhm,
Yeah, with
and
the Joker, and they're kind of a tag team, but not really, depending on which iteration you read. So, but
yeah.
I'm not too familiar of the origins.
Well, Harley Quinn first actually appeared not in a comic. She
Really?
actually appeared in Batman the Animated Series back in the 90s.
Okay.
Um, and she
Interesting.
was
Was she a villain in it?
no. Well, I mean, at first, no. She was more of Joker's. Um, I don't
Side
know
piece.
the pronounced name, but the precise name, but I'm gonna say therapist to Joker. And the next thing you know,
Interesting.
he twisted her mind, and the next thing you know, she fell deeply in love with him. The
Mhm.
rest is history, you know, and that's what happened
Interesting.
on
So
the
she was
animated
kind of
series.
oh, that's really interesting. So it's almost like she was a victim in a way. She
Yeah,
was almost a victim, and then the Joker twist. Okay, but then your character you said is like much darker.
yeah. In
Okay.
fact, if I may, I can read a little sentence,
Yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
just
Go for it. Yeah, I'd love
kind
to
of
hear it.
describing her. I'm not gonna, you know, um, read because there is more to her that as the book goes along.
Mhm.
Um, it continues building up on who she is, but
Okay.
that first little kind of definition of who she is kind of like, okay, I don't know whether to be scared or not.
I was
So
like, yeah, you know what's interesting is I was never a big Batman fan. Like I said, I think I did a little bit more
okay.
Marvel, but the first Batman movie I was like the biggest fan of was
Mhm.
probably The Dark Knight, the one the Heath Ledger, like that.
Yes.
And I know that movie was definitely went mainstream, and that's probably one of the reasons I ended up seeing it. But such a good movie, such a
Yes.
good trilogy, obviously. But I loved Heath Ledger as the Joker before his untimely demise.
Now, as true, true.
Mhm.
And as for Batman, when it comes to DC, I'm more of
Mhm.
a I know more about Batman and Superman than any of the other Justice League. I know just
Yeah,
about
I'm
those
like,
two.
I think about it. I think when I was younger, I don't think I watched. I think I watched maybe a little Spider-Man. I think I
Mhm.
watched the Teen Titans. I think I saw Teen Titans on, and I think I remember those ones. I liked Robin, the young Rob. I liked the I forgot the creepy Raven. I think she was a cool
Yeah.
character. I just try to think of DC. But then I forget what other ones were DC. But there's been some good DC movies over time. Just the DC franchise has really struggled in comparison and trying
Yeah.
to compete with Marvel because DC has tried to do the same thing as Marvel for a long time. Well, DC has had a couple successes. Marvel has just consistently blown them out of the water. Granted, we're in an era where there's just superhero fatigue. There's a
Yes.
lot of superhero fatigue. Could be Disney. It could just be Disney fatigue, but
True. And
hard to
yeah,
say.
from like
But Deadpool
Marvel.
Deadpool killed box office though.
Yes.
So
Which is very
Deadpool killed box
understandable.
office, and it was. Did you watch Deadpool?
Yes.
Dude, that movie was fire. Was that movie was
Yes.
hilarious. It gave you like everything you wanted in a movie. It was self-aware. It made fun of basically everything you wanted it to make fun of. It
Yes.
had all the cameos that you wanted. It was
Yes.
they knew exactly what they were doing. Like,
It was
thank you
like
for making a great superhero movie.
I don't know if you've ever seen the meme of oh, what's his name? Uh he's a character from The Emperor's New Groove,
Mhm,
and it's so I'm borrowing the meme a little bit, is
mhm.
that the Deadpool and Wolverine was like perfect.
I think I know which meme you're talking about.
Yeah,
I
it
think I
was
know. Mhm,
perfect. And I
mhm.
have finally found that sentence. It took me a little bit because I hadn't remembered. So,
Alright.
this is when Raziel and his brother Kane, which, fun fact, I named them both Raziel and Kane in reference to the video games of the Legacy of Kane series. Both
Oh,
of
that's
their
kinda cool.
both of those characters were like my all-time favorites in the games, and I loved them, and that's why I reference their names and not like the actual locations in the video games, but their names in general. Just
Okay.
as a reference for those who haven't played the game, that's why I named them because that game was one of my all-time favorites, and I'm so excited that they're coming out with a Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered. That's so good.
I saw that. He said this Soul Reaper?
Soul Reaver.
Soul Reaver. Wait, which one was Soul
Yes.
Reaver? I don't know if I played Soul Reaver. Is
It
it Soul Reaver?
is.
Granted, and I never played Legacy of Kain either, but they announced a lot of good classics. I was very happy that
Yeah.
they're remastering a one of my favorite RPGs.
Mhm.
It's classic RPG. It always got overlooked by Final Fantasy, but it's called Suikoden. It was the
Mhm.
Suikoden series, and I loved it. But it's always overlooked by Final Fantasy.
True, true. I can see that because I think back when I was a kid, and I told my brother this, back when I was a kid, um, when he would, uh, play Final Fantasy, I would be in his room just kinda sitting there watching him, and I'd be like, "Why do you like this? I don't get it. Why do you like this?" And then now I've played, Final Fantasy 1 to probably 9 or
You,
whatever.
you played most of them.
Yeah,
What?
and
So, which real question? Which one's your favorite? Are you
oh,
a Cloud fan like everybody else?
you're hurting me here, man. You're hurting me here. There's I'd have to replay them again because there were like
9. 9 usually ends
certain
up being my favorite one personally because it has the
I
little wizard with the yellow hat.
yes, yes. Oh my gosh, and when he was like either knocked over or something, I felt so bad I wanted to cuddle him.
But most people attend their favorite Final Fantasy almost is always Cloud, which is
And
7. Cloud
and
and
yes,
Sephiroth. It's what more like classic team up dynamic or
and
antagonistic.
I can very much I can agree with that, and I totally understand that. But I think I'm in agreement with you as much as I do like I think Final Fantasy 4 and I think 6, 7, 8, and 9. I think I'm gonna have to agree with you and say that 9 is probably my favorite one.
Yeah,
Not
I think the only ones I think I played the first 3. I
hmm
might have played 4. I don't think I played 5 or 6. And then 7 is when the next gen era
yeah.
starts. I want to
hmm
say 1 through 6 is the pre 2D era.
Yeah.
7 through 9 is the PS
Yes.
PlayStation 1 or 2 era.
Yeah.
And then Final Fantasy 10 is when you get 3D. Um, and that's leading up until you get Final Fantasy Online till you go to 14.
hmm
Yeah, clearly.
Oh my gosh, that
Mhm,
every time, and it wasn't you, but every time somebody says anything about Final Fantasy 10, I think it's 10, but
mhm,
um, I my brain reacts like the Vietnam War of like that kid doing that really ridiculous laugh. Huh? It's like what? Why? Why? Oh, please, no, stop. You're still
like, why?
laughing. Please stop. I am begging you. Oh my gosh.
Mhm,
All right. So, here we go. Uh, so obviously they are um, searching for this these people known as the Holy Trinity. They're looking for their newest building that they went upon because the last time most of their men were destroyed by werewolves, so they had to move everything.
mhm,
And so they are in this friend of theirs. He knows a lot. Like
mhm,
if you have a question about anything, you go to this guy. His name is Barnabas.
mhm.
Um, I referenced him from a I gosh dang it, I don't remember. I think it was another vampire who was in. It was another vampire movie of some sort, I believe. I could be very wrong on
Mhm.
that. I'd have to look it up again.
Okay.
Um, but let's see. Here we go. So let's see. Okay, so he says the Holy Trinity may have moved to a new location because of the werewolves killing most of them last time, but I'm making you a map of some sorts. He explained as he was pouring potion into 2 glass cups. Fair enough. So where's Holly? Her name is Holly. Um, uh, Her name is Holly, the crazy one. He goes, fair enough. So where's Holly? As he and Kane took the cups. Hunting for frog eyes, Barnabas replied. Holly was the rare type of person, even before she turned. She'd torture animals and her mother in ways that would best to leave to the imagination. So,
Animals and her mother. Dang, this
mhm.
man, you aren't kidding. This girl is like a serial killer status over here.
And as in one of the chapters, it explains just a little more of her kind of personality of like
Mhm,
so after a certain part, she goes up to Raziel, and
mhm.
this took place long before, and she's like looking up at him, and So you gonna turn me into a vampire or what? You know, kind of doesn't
Mhm,
care and gets a little crazy, has her own cave, and has her
mhm.
own pet spider.
Because who doesn't need a pet spider? Talk about the perfect pet. I remember we
A-
were talking about the pet spider on one of our
and
Wednesday
and
streams.
and this spider is not the kind that you could just hold in your hand willy nilly. No sir, no sir. This is a spider you could ride like a horse.
I absolutely love that. I literally I've been thinking about what type of pet to put in my story
Hmm.
because I introduced an egg. I decided to introduce the character finding an egg very early on, but I haven't decided what's going to hatch from it yet.
Right.
I might not hatch something from it in the first book. I'm going back and forth, but right now it's just a mystery egg. I don't know what type of creature I want to hatch from it. I want it to be unexpected.
Well, that's when you don't really think about it, and your brain will just somehow out of the blue think of something, and you'll be like, "Really?" There's your unexpected right there.
Yep,
Whenever you end
exactly.
up questioning yourself, so that's what hatches? There you go. That's it right there.
Absolutely. Well, I really love that you shared that little excerpt. I'm very
Hmm.
intrigued now. So you said you're on book 8.
Hmm.
But okay, so there's the first trilogy. Are all
Yes.
8 books in the same universe?
Yes.
Okay, so but the first 3 books is part of a one trilogy, and then books 4 on Explorer is it like a different series within the universe?
Um, no. How I've done it is, granted, you could say I kind of used a little MCU on this one. Whereas you know how uh, they had like Iron Man, Credible Hulk, Iron Man 2,
Mhm.
and then I think Thor, and then Captain America, which went all the way back in time to World War II, and then
Oh,
back
yeah.
to the present. That's kind of what I was have been doing with my series of kind of going back and forth. Where the first book is the Raziel Chronicles, and then the second would be Angel, and then the third would be the Alien, and the
Mm,
fourth I want to say is the Raziel Chronicles 2. Um, Yeah, the fourth is the Raziel Chronicles 2, and then the
okay.
fifth one, that's when it once again introduces a um, new characters, of course.
Mhm.
This book would is called The Shadow Warriors.
Oh,
Um,
that's kinda cool. That's a cool title.
yes, yes, yes. And I at first I was gonna make the Shadow Warriors as if they're like supposed to be gang members or
Mhm,
gangs known as the Shadow Warriors. But
mhm.
the more I wrote, the more it's like it was more of they're not really technically in like the front and center row. They're kind of in the background a little bit.
M'kay. M'kay.
Um, let's see. Um, and in the meantime, um, if I can get to it, the summary is in the fifth installment of the Heavenly Warrior series, we meet
Mhm,
Liam and Jack, two best friends since childhood. Even though Liam isn't that wealthy, but Jack is, Jack cares more about friendship than money. But their lives are about to change and might start a massive domino effect when ninjas attack Liam and his fiancee Kim's house. It's time to answer some questions.
I love it.
Yes.
I'm like, I
And
I like the ninjas.
and right now I am working on the second Warriors, Shadow
Oh,
Warriors.
okay.
Um, that one, as you know from last Wednesday, I couldn't
Mhm,
really think of a title, and so I kind of left it naked there
mhm.
for a while. And I'm still kind of struggling, but I'm stuck between making the title of Out of the Shadows or Defiance. So it's kind of a win-win there, and whatever I come up with in the end, that's the title.
Out of the Shadows or Defiance.
Out of the Shadows is for a reason, but I will not say. And
Mhm,
Defiance is because um, his Jack's father in a very weird, twisted way wants Jack to defy him.
What if with the title? All right, bear with me. Defiant Shadows.
Oh, oh,
Just another name idea that like just came to me. That was best getting the best of both worlds. You're
hey,
like,
oh!
damn, I'm trying to match your energy, crazy.
Did y'all hear that? Oh, oh, that got me. Oh, oh, that I never thought of that. That oh my goodness.
Coming to a bookstore near you. Defiant Shadows.
I'll have to. I'm gonna. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll remember that next time. I like that. I like that. I very much like that. And um,
Something
also,
else to add to your list of ideas as you're kind of
yes,
brainstorming. Oh, and
yes.
if you're ever struggling with titles, crazy, you
Hmm.
ask the chat in one of the live streams.
Hmm.
Or are you on the Discord yet? If you hop in the Discord,
Hmm.
there's so many writers on there chatting with each other now. You could literally ask them, and I've gotten so many like good ideas for names just in the writing community. People are really creative. Are really
Yeah.
creative.
True. True. Oh, and I totally forgot because we kind of went sideways for a while, but that's okay.
It happens. It happens.
The reason why I'm already on book 8 is obviously, as you know, the short chapters and stuff like that, but
Mhm,
also because I am so very impatient with so many things in this world.
mhm,
Um, I'm have it to where pretty much all of my books are just like if you want to include the prologue and the epilogue, I
mhm,
can't help but include both of those because I always think of my books as like episodes of a TV show or
mhm,
how a movie would start and end after the
mhm.
credits. You know, um, I would say altogether 12 chapters, so short stories. But I have been a little bit working on that. In fact, I believe the second Raziel Chronicles book has about 14 chapters on that
Okay.
one. So it's
Okay.
kind of sometimes I get it done, other at more than 12. Sometimes I'm like, I know this is kind of short, but I can't help it.
Yeah, right, that's kind of just how the story comes out.
And that it's also goes with the whole how when I'm writing something or writing a chapter, I
Mhm.
don't really pay attention to the word counts. I am focused into that
Yeah, and
world.
you probably don't pay attention to it until after the fact, I imagine.
Exactly. After
Mhm,
that, after I'm done with that chapter and about to do a new chapter, I look up and sometimes, or in this case, right now, most times, I
mhm.
see the number and it's like, mm, that, mm,
Like
mm.
you weren't expecting it. You're like you got
Yeah,
so into it and you're like, "Wow, that's the word count that it ended up at."
yeah. Sometimes or most times it's a little too low, and I'm like, my brain always kind of goes like, "Ooh, what would people think of like it being such a short chapter? Ooh, boy, oh boy." But then I try to be like, "Hey, look at James Patterson. Some of his chapters were pretty darn short. I think they'll be
Yeah,
okay."
I mean, I don't think there's a minimum or maximum required chapter length. I think it
Right,
comes down to the story that you're telling, right? How
right.
much a chapter is essentially breaking up a moment in time is or breaking up a scene. Sometimes some chapters will do like if you're like exploring a chapter, let's say like about a battle, right? You
Hmm.
could break up different scenes in the same chapter and then just switch character POVs, or you could have a chapter be one specific fight in the overall
Yeah,
battle.
that
So different ways.
I don't know why this appeared in my mind, but for some reason you just remind me of a conversation we had on one of your streams.
Mhm,
It was about I don't know who wrote it. I don't remember much of authors because I'm not much of a reader. I'm more of a
mhm.
writer. But we were talking about how, or joking about how an author, had written like probably a few chapters just describing a tree, and it was like, Are you gonna get to the other stuff yet,
You're like,
dude?
how? Like, all right, we got the branches, and we got the roots,
This
and we got the coloring of the leaves, and
we
then we
got
got
the
the
ants.
exactly we got the ants, we got the way
Mm.
the leaves blow, and then we haven't started on how it sounds when the leaves are blowing. Haven't talked about the smell yet. We haven't
And the
talked about
season. What season is it? Because if it's summer, there could be a beehive on the tree where Pooh Bear could sneak
it's
up and
interesting.
try to
I
get some
I
honey.
found that as an interesting challenge in my book because there's a lot of like there's a lot of nature and it's very like
Mhm.
post-apocalyptic. So like the reader for it to be a good reading experience, they kind of need to know
Mhm.
what the land looks like. But I recognize I can't just like do too much land description or then it turns them off. But like
Right,
the experience of the world is so important in the first like couple chapters, anyways.
right. Now, if you don't mind me asking,
Mhm.
um, exactly how did it come to wanting to create uh, Scarecrow? Like, what made you want to create Scarecrow in the first place?
Absolutely. I got the dogs in the background. We're dog sitting right now.
Ah,
So yeah, we have a
been
bunch of
there,
dogs here.
been there.
So that is a great question. So let's pull up where's my outline? Oh no momento. So Scarecrow. So my book is called The Last Scarecrow,
Hmm.
a Dawn of Magic series, book
Hmm.
1. So the story itself originated from a writing exercise or a
Hmm.
writing free write.
Hmm.
I was like, I think I put it on here. So it originated from a writing free write. The first, I want to say 30 days of the live streams in January, when I started the challenge to myself, I didn't actually know what I was going to write. I was just like, okay, I'll work on different things. I'll do free writes and I'll do a lot of short stories.
Hmm.
And this was the very first day where I pulled up an image and it was just some random image online of like a sunset and like a field. And that I wrote a 2-page, just little like short rewrite
Hmm.
of a scarecrow in a field because I thought one of the things looked like a scarecrow in a field, and a crow came by and stole the scarecrow's hat and then caused the
Ah,
scarecrow to chase after it. And it was 2 pages. I liked that. After about a week, I did another couple pages and then another. And by the end of January, I was about maybe like a couple of chapters. And I was like,
mhm,
okay, there's enough here that I know that I think I have a story that I would like to explore. And then I asked
mhm,
myself, what themes did I want to explore? I wanted to
mhm,
explore a post-apocalyptic vibe, but I wanted to be very in a fantasy universe. I wanted to explore magic. I'm like, what's something that I feel like hasn't been done before? A
mhm,
world that is about the creation of magic and about the consequences or positive benefits throughout. So that's
mhm,
what the overall series is about. It's
mhm.
about magic, which every
Right.
fantasy nerd loves magic. So I'm like, great theme
True.
to explore. And then the first book is essentially Scarecrow's journey about him going on this journey. You mind if I read the blurb for it? I've
Go
been
for it.
like, I've been going over this blurb like every day. I go over it so often because I know that
Mhm.
like if the blurb's not good, people don't read the book.
Right. Fair enough. Go
Okay.
for it.
So, oh my goodness, I have 2 variations now. Every single time I do it, we like come up with new things, and I'm like,
Yeah.
people get feedback. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. So let me. Okay, well, we'll go with the first one. All right, so the last scarecrow awakens to a world of ruins, fragments of tech, and creators' remains, while nature's catastrophic fury lays waste. When an eccentric crow robs Scarecrow of his arm, he embarks on a journey of self exploration in a world full of animals, creatures, and beasts who are losing their memories while fading away from existence. Along the way, he encounters a pixie, a grizzly, a skunk, and a dragonkin, who must band together if they hope to challenge the first demon and stop him from calling upon the nothingness.
Nice.
And then like the variation of it was I was going back and forth, and this somebody
Yeah.
suggested this was instead starting with awoken to a world threatened by the nothingness. This last scarecrow must navigate ruins, fragments of tech, and his beloved creator's remains while nature's catastrophic fury lays waste.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Now I'm gonna
So,
wonder where you're gonna go with that.
so it's kind of like two different variations. I'm
Yeah.
like I said, I'm playing around with it, and I'm taking my time of like going iteration after iteration. So I want to make
Yeah.
sure that it's clear to an extent, while intriguing, hooking, and pull. It's enough of an intrigue to pull somebody into the story. So
Right.
then the book one is essentially Scarecrow's journey of waking up to this world, traveling through the world, traveling through. It's a very dark world,
Yeah.
as you all know. It is a very dark and unforgiving world. Like this is not a world I'd want to be in. Sorry, Scarecrow.
True.
Scarecrow will persevere.
True. True. I totally understand the darkness because as for Raziel, when I wrote those books, for some reason in my mind, I kept picturing, even if I were to talk about the daytime,
Hmm.
um, I still imagine the world just kind of being at night, and
Hmm.
forest, and a, a castle here and a castle there,
Hmm.
just dark and kind of like those, how it would be with, well, actually, a perfect one would be The Crow. Um,
I
I
approve.
either the Crow or the Underworld series.
Yeah, I
Uh,
definitely approve.
um, which it drove me crazy that I watched The Crow, I liked it, and I thought it came in like the early 2000s, and then I
Hmm.
saw that it came out in the 90s. I was like, that that looked like it was from the early 2000s. Well done. I was ahead of your
Like
time, man.
nice, nice.
I like it. I like when they do that. Um, but that is good. As
Yeah,
for some,
I haven't seen The Crow. Are you are you a fan of horror movies at all?
yes, I mean, this is from a person who loves Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Saw,
Saw
all
was
the Saw
good.
movies.
I think Saw and what was the and Paranormal Activity.
Yeah,
Both of
yeah,
those first movies, okay, they came out around the same time. Sinister was shortly after that, but
yeah.
both of those movies did so well because they did an original concept in a unique
Mhm,
way, and it was
mhm.
well done. Saw, the ending was a twist, and it was just such a well-told story on such a short budget, and it was so engaging. Clearly,
Yeah,
20 Saw movies later, same with Paranormal,
yeah.
right? If 20 Paranormal movies later, they were amazing. But I recently saw and I was like, I guess it might be more thriller horror, but I
Mhm.
recently saw Trap by an M. Night Shyamalan movie,
Yeah,
and I was
I've heard
pleasantly
about that.
surprised. I was very pleasantly surprised by it because I haven't seen any Shyamalan movies in the past decade that have been good.
True, true, true. I think the and I could be very wrong on this one because my memory doesn't serve me too good. I'm old and fat. Um, I think the last one I saw, if this was in like Night Shyamalan's,
Mhm.
I think it was the Sixth Sense.
Yeah, love Sixth Sense.
Yeah, I do like seeing dead people sometimes.
Yeah, of his OG ones, Sixth Sense and Signs are always my two favorites.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
As for the books I've written, like obviously Raziel and stuff. Obviously Raziel, the name wise, as I said, came from the video games, but the world themselves are kind of, because I've been watching movies like the Underworld series and whatnot,
Mhm.
because I absolutely love vampires and werewolf stuff.
Oh yeah, Underworld is such a fun. They did such a good job with that original trilogy. I remember. I had so much fun watching
Yeah.
Underworld.
Yes,
Like
and
the vampires were like the right balance of like
mhm,
sex appeal and dangerous, and the werewolves were the good balance of sex appeal, and
mhm,
they had this like code, and it was cool, and I liked that it
yes,
was kind of like this gang war,
mhm,
and just the way it was framed. I really loved it, that movie. Actually makes
yeah,
me. I'm pretty sure I was like, I was like, think about movies. I was like, damn. I was like, I knew I had it.
dude,
I was
we
like,
have
it's
a
been so. It's one of the, I actually like. I might rewatch it now. It's been so long since I've watched it. Actually, you want to know one of my favorites? One of my favorites, and this one isn't as much a horror. This one is a little. It's like horror-ish.
mhm.
Cabin in the Woods.
It has been a long time since I've seen that. I liked it.
Absolutely love it. It's also because
Yeah.
partially like it was Joss Whedon and it had that
Mhm.
cast of characters. Like why that's why I say like it's kind of horror-ish. It's like horror spoof-ish.
Mhm.
Um, it's one of my favorites.
That is fair. And if anybody in the chat has any kind of horror movie favorites, oh, let us know, man. Let's talk about it a
Yeah.
little bit.
And
You
especially
know?
right now, because like it's Halloween's almost upon us. So
True.
like
True. I
crazy.
mean, that's
You gonna be you doing anything for Halloween? You going crazy? Are you going as root beer?
no, I think I've finally gotten to that age where I'm too old.
No one's too
Uh,
old for Halloween. We're never too old. You know what, crazy? We just announced today we're going to be doing a
what?
costume contest for the fiction competition next weekend. So anybody
If
who wants to come, let's say like you're not the type who you want to go out and party or you don't deal with trick or treaters. We're giving everyone an option. If you want to just do a costume, you can take a picture if you want, or you could just come vibe with us. We were talking about that today. Actually, we're trying to do something fun with the community of like, all right, let's
no,
all dress up in costumes. Because I like every Halloween, I always worked. I've always predominantly like before this year, I've always worked like customer service. I was like, it's busy. I don't have time to go to do something. So I thought that'd be kind of cool.
fair, fair. If I was like, if I either found somebody or was a master of like scary makeup stuff, I would go as this guy.
Hey, that's badass.
He is uh, he is our logo in this channel. I call him,
Mm-hmm.
as cliche as it is, Crazy J. And I even have a background story for him.
Mm-hmm.
What? Um, he's the king of the underworld, and I know that in mythology, Greek mythology, Hades is the king of the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
That is perfectly fine, but in my world, there's a reason why he is king of the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Thank you very much. Um, I used to go on an app called Reality, which is where you do stream live and stuff, but obviously
Mm-hmm.
not like this. So I
Mm-hmm.
was used to doing that, just not the one on here.
Okay.
And when I first created him, the very first time I somewhat created him was like just a
Mm-hmm.
drawing of your classic head and
Oh
evil
wow.
smile,
It
you
just
know.
started off as
And
okay, that's interesting.
that was like way back in 2016. So we've been around for quite a while. And when I would actually come up with the voice, apparently there were some people on there that said it reminded them as a mix of someone from the Bronx
Mhm.
and Beetlejuice. And it's
Like,
like
well, I guess Beetlejuice from the Bronx, Beetle in the Beetle Bronx.
the Beetle Bronx. That sounds like a
It's
band.
funny.
The Beetle Bronx with tunes such as the Monster Mash.
Oh man, I think that's great though. I think that's absolutely great. That cracks me up so much.
It it it's been a ride. I don't know now. I don't know what else to do with him other than obviously he's my logo and stuff like that. But
Aw.
recently, my brain, even while I'm doing these books, um, my brain has come up with a bigger story for him that I actually want to write about that has nothing to do with this series I'm writing about. But
Okay.
my brain it wants to go with one thing at a time, so I'll probably have to finish this series first. And yet, in the background, also is kind of a mix of do I want him in this series or in standalone series? And I wouldn't know his name, but it's all because of just this one song
Mhm.
um, from this. I believe it's a band called uh, The Devil Inside, which is like a mix. I think they mix it up with uh, classic country music with a little bit of goth in there,
Okay.
and with their album covers is a cowboy, but like a really dark one, and he's mostly skeleton, and it's like
Interesting. Okay.
I I kind of like it, and then the next thing I know, I'm starting to come up with the backstory and what he can do and why he's like
Mhm.
he is, and so I'm like, do I want to include him in the series, or is the amount of characters already good enough? I don't want to pack too much into this,
Yeah, but it
so
sounds like he was a really cool character.
yeah. So I obviously obviously once I find out what I'm gonna do, obviously you'll know. But that's the thing. What I my brain is comfortable with doing one thing at a time,
Mhm.
like just writing the stories I've been writing right now. But yeah,
Mhm.
at the same time, my brain is already miles away figuring out brand new things of like character wise of like, oh wait, we could also don't forget we've also got this character to do, and don't forget about the story
Mhm.
about what's going on. Oh, and don't forget that too. It's like, dude, one at a time, man. One book at a time. I've already
The
been thinking up of 20 books.
That is the true mind of a writer, my friend. I absolutely love hearing that. You're always
Yeah,
thinking like 10 steps ahead. I think it's always trying to like make sure that you capture all the information or all the ideas so that
yes.
way you don't lose them, especially when you're thinking so far ahead too.
And as for like uh the evil, your classic bad guys, obviously for this first part of the series, there is one that's kind of in the background, which, as you know, has been wanting to choosing somebody to technically kind of rule the world for him, like
Okay.
kind of like the Emperor with Darth Vader, you know. And so he would be
The
choosing other
Emperor with
people.
Darth the
Yeah,
Darth. Yep. I like
and
that.
but as the series will go, you'll realize this villain, as much as right now, as much as he's like a pretty big thing to deal with right now,
Mhm.
technically he's later on in the series he's not going to be that big anymore.
So he's
I
only big like right now.
yes, because um I've already got a bad guy set up.
Because the Ninja King shurikens him to death.
Maybe. I mean, already he's planning on kind of messing with, I believe, one of the heroes, and he's
Mhm.
been talking to one of the heroes of like, because which was Angel, and Angel, in the first book, he was battling somebody, and when he gets knocked down and feels like, you know, thinks he can't win, all of a
Mhm.
sudden this main villain comes up and is like, "You're supposed to be the hero, and you're gonna defeat me, but how can you when you're like this? I want you to be
Mm.
stronger, kind of, really get him on." And yes, I know maybe some people will be like, why would you want him to destroy you? And I know that's kind of cliche of like even other villains in the past, either movies or other books would say that kind
Mhm.
of thing of like, destroy me if you will.
You're
You
like,
know, it's like,
destroy me. You're like, kill him.
but he's building him up for a reason, for a
Yeah,
big
I
reason.
could totally see that with like the Emperor's voice being like, "Kill him."
Dude,
Or with the Emperor in episode 3.
yes,
Execute Order 66.
execute order 66.
I think that you should be the Emperor for Halloween.
Believe me, my friend Patrick, he loves when I do that voice. He'll leave by like, come on,
I
do the thing, man, do the thing.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Crazy. I want you to do some I want you to do some like creepy like voices and sound effects.
Mhm.
That'd be really cool. I feel like you'd be really good with that actually.
I I could even just one sec. Um, mm, oops. I can even, if I can really get into it again, I can even do the voice of Crazy J to let you know what I'm talking about, let you hear what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Um, uh, it's kind of like give me a sentence, like give me a sentence to reply to.
Hmm. Okay. Um Crazy J. What Crazy J? How crazy are you?
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm so crazy that a normal meal it just ain't gonna work for me. All right, I need to eat some souls. I'm a soul eater. Okay, that fills
Dang,
me up all
you
the time.
souls? Why souls?
Well, there, think of like the biggest plate of dinner you've ever had in your life, and then multiply that by 10, and it just fills you up right away. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I got a big stomach. I got a big stomach. I love the stomach though. I didn't used to have this kind of stomach before I died. And then once I did die, I realized my stomach changed and I love it. And it gives me more, it umps my power a little bit in case I need to use it to, discipline some people.
Oh yeah, have you disciplined anyone lately?
Yeah, I had to discipline my little shrimpy, little stocky boy. He didn't do the order right, and let's just say that he's going to be eating some bats and spiders for a while with a nasty taste.
Oh my goodness. I absolutely love that. I was like the community wants me to use my old man voice more often. I don't even know how this comes about. Um Back in my day, I like it's actually I've been going back and forth on it. Back in my day, I used to walk 10 miles to the candy store, you young whippersnappers.
What would you go to a candy store for?
I don't eating souls. Back in my day, we didn't eat souls. We ate dirt. That's what makes a real tough cookie.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Oh my goodness. Wow.
It's because on the when on some of the Saturday streams, there's
Yeah.
I do the live story readings, and a
Mhm.
couple of the stories included old old male characters like grandpas. So then I went to voice, and people love them.
Yeah. Heck, I think there was one time, um, this was in either probably your third or fourth Wednesday stream. The
Mhm,
third one was when I was first introduced, and I was used to be in the chat,
mhm.
and which number three is my favorite number. So there's your reason there, and I think somebody wanted you to do your little announcer voice thing.
Announcer voice. What is my announcer voice? Is that like is that
It,
my more
no,
like presentational one on the intros and outros of my videos?
no, it's more like when you go like in a world where the scarecrow lives, his hat
In a
is somewhat
world,
stolen.
mm, in a
Yes.
world where scarecrows live to kill, we welcome Soul Reaper, dawn of a bloody new day.
Mm, that's a good
Kick
book.
back and buckle your seats because there won't be any seats to buckle after this joyride.
I like it. I like it. We should do a little competition on that one. Who could do a good voice
A good
presentation
voice.
thing?
I absolutely love
Yeah.
it. I literally I had a whole theater background, but I never thought I was that great of an actor. I was a much stronger
If,
writer. No, I just
if
have
I
fun with voices.
true, same here, same here. Like let's see. Like sometimes Emma will come and say hello. Yeah. And sometimes I can do Stitch, sometimes I can't. This is family.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. That's really good. That sounds like Stitch.
Other ones I haven't I haven't gotten to yet.
I think I have like another announcer one that I've done before. I'd be like, "Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show because we're just about to get started. Please grab your seats to eat your popcorn and get ready for the ride of a lifetime. And before you go, please don't touch the attraction. They will bite your fingers off. Last time we only lost about 10 fingers, but you signed the disclaimer. So kick back, relax, and enjoy the show."
That's awesome. That is awesome.
I'm just gonna create all the different voices for my books, and I'll just do it myself. And I'll do it very intentionally low budget, so that way there'll be a spoof version of the book that people will just be laughing the entire time.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, why don't you give it a like and click subscribe? All right.
That is what you should do. You should do all of your subscribe asks in one of your voices.
I'll try that sometime. I like that, and it's okay if you
Crazy. I
don't.
don't need to even do subscribe asks on my channel anymore. I just want to record your subscribe asks. And then anytime I need to do, I'm just going to hit play and I want to just have a different voice every single time from crazy.
I can try maybe creepy, happy, sad. It'd be like, please, madam,
Oh, I love that.
could you please hit the subscribe button? I would very much appreciate it. I don't need any money or anything. I just want you to get the subscribe button.
One of my creators I like, their subscribe is always hit that subscribe button or I'm going to punch you in the face. That's always the ask. That's always the ask he's done over the years. If you don't want to get punched in the face, hit that subscribe button.
Oh man. If you don't want to have a heart attack, just click the subscribe button and you'll be fine.
If you don't want to be attacked by the Reaper of Souls, if you want to keep your life intact, hit that subscribe button right now. Do it. Do it right now. Do it. Do it. Do it right now. Just go like demonic. Do it. Do it. Tap it. Do you want a virus on your computer? Do it.
Oh, I can't do it because I can't think of like one of those when one of those commercials of like different types of medicine, and they'll
Mhm.
give you warning: this medicine may cause heart attack, sudden death, blood clots. Warning: subscribing may cause happiness, joy, triumphant, and
Oh,
feel
that's
of
good.
empowerment.
That's good. That's good. Oh my god, that's really good. That's really good. Oh my god. Crazy. If you ever wanted to record like actually on Wednesday's group, you should do the subscribe for us. I think that's hilarious. You should do the subscribe and do a random message.
I'll have to type one. I'll have to type one on my phone of what to say. 'Cause I don't know if I'd want to make try to do it fast because I used to be able to do stuff like that pretty fast. You know that not as fast as that. I don't know his name, but he's famous for talking really really fast
Mhm.
in little commercials. But a little fast like that. I used to be able to do it, and if I had something in front of me, word for word, I could try it out.
That'd be cool. That'd be
You
super
just
cool.
you just tell me what you want me to say, and I'll type it in, send it to my own messenger, and so that whenever you want me to go,
I
I'll
I
just
totally thought you were
open it
gonna
up and
say.
go down.
I thought you totally were gonna say. Just tell me what you want me to say. I'll send it to my publicist. I'll send it to my agent as well. Make sure that I'm approved for it. I'll send it to my editor. Make sure that it's edited correctly, and then we'll get back to you on the proposal on the asking price.
And if you could please make sure that it is appropriate, that would be very much obliged. Thank you.
It will not be appropriate at all. So.
Awesome. We don't care. We get paid
Oh
extra money for
man.
that.
Hmm, man.
Do you so like in this series, how many books do you think you'll write? Or do you know yet?
So I've asked myself that a good number of times.
Mhm.
I my plan is a trilogy. My plan is a trilogy to tell the
Fair.
the story of the dawn of magic.
Mhm.
Um, the first book, obviously, the last Scarecrow, follows a. I have three types of characters in the world. I have animals, creatures, and then beasts. Those are the three like
Okay.
types.
Okay.
Scarecrow is a creature.
Mhm.
Obviously, he interacts with a lot of animals. The second book is going to explore one of the beast type characters a little bit more.
Mhm.
And there's a reason that beasts exist and what they are. So it's going to take a little deeper dive into the darkness behind the world and start probably touching upon one of the greater antagonists. I keep
Okay.
going back and forth. I'm like, all right, will it be more books? I don't know. I think right now the planned goal would be a trilogy, but I think it's one of those things where I won't know until I write or get into plotting out the full second book. I know the overarching major plot of the series. I know Scarecrow's plot of the series. Um, yeah, so I know a lot of the overarching plots, themes, ideas. I know where I want to take characters. I think it just
Mhm.
depends on how the writing process itself goes, in addition to how people respond after I
Right.
publish the first book to start with. Because I like to, I mean, I've written the entire book on the live stream, so I'll probably take feedback into consideration as an aspect, not as a
Mhm.
defining, not as an
Right.
overarching, but as a just as like part of a feedback loop.
Okay. All
So, but
right.
great question. Yeah, I've been having
That's
a lot of fun with it. The question I am debating about now though is after I finish Last Scarecrow, which in a perfect
mhm.
world I'll be able to finish and publish it by January 1st.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see. The Hopefully, I have to kind of keep seeing how the process goes. But perfect
Mhm.
world, I publish it on January 1st. And the question I ask myself is, do I go straight on to writing book two, of which when readers read a book, they want the next book. So I mean, like I feel like I
Mhm.
should, but my the other half of my gut is telling me I should take like a 3 month break and write a nonfiction writing book on on like a writing tip technique book on how to write a book more efficiently.
Nice, nice. I like it. I like it.
I'm not sure. I haven't been. I've been thinking about it, but it's more like, okay, do people want that? Do people want like a writing book on how to write a book? I don't know.
Honestly, for me, I'm kind of the same thing of like if, or I shouldn't say if, when I get done with my book series, I mean like end it.
Hmm.
For a while, I'm like, okay, well, when you do end it, what are you gonna do? I mean, what else can you write after that? I mean, this is probably gonna take a while for it to end, and once it ends, it's like, what now? I'm, you know, it kind of like s- uh, visiting family for about, I don't know, few months, and then once you get back
Hmm.
home, you're like, as much as you missed your bed and whatnot, it's like, okay, so what do I do now? All that enjoyment is, I've had a lot of fun with the family, and now I'm back home. I don't know what to do. And
Oh my
that was
god.
that was the that was me the first time, but now that I've
Hmm.
thought of two characters,
Hmm.
especially Crazy J now, it's like, okay, now I'm starting to get somewhere in here and being like, okay, when I do finish the series, if I haven't already included the unknown cowboy, if I hadn't included him, or if I decide not to include him, that'll be another book, either trilogy or series.
Hmm.
I don't know on that one. So that's good that I'll have something
Hmm.
else to write about, and also Crazy J's adventures, which I'm thinking of already. I know I technically wanted to make it a movie series, but real life is not like that. So I would technically want to make it a 9-part series for Crazy J.
Wow, that'd be super
Um,
cool. So, how many more books do you have for the core series?
that one is so far a mystery,
So
because
kind of like playing it by ear.
yeah, my I wouldn't say my goal, but it's one of those where I think it might be.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking 20 books. I'm thinking, but knowing where this series might go, I'm
Hmm.
saying probably about 25. So 20 to 25 maybe.
Wow, so you're going like a really like long book series. That's actually really interesting.
Exactly.
Are,
That's
are there
why.
book series? Are there book series out there that usually go like that many books or that long or that in depth?
Um, gosh, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there is. There's got to be. Um, uh, dang it, I forget the name of it. Um, Cross, Alex Cross, or something like that. Alan Cross, or something. Another James Patterson book. He's came up with those like. There's a lot of Alex Cross books, I believe,
Hmm.
on those, and I lost count. But there's got to be some kind of
I'm like,
book
that's
series.
so many books. Like a 25-part book series. I mean, that's cool though, because readers then get to follow along the journey for as long as uh they get to follow along for a really long time. That's actually probably a really good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. Um, but yeah, like I said, that's why I was like, after I finish the series, what am I gonna do? It's been so long because I've stayed in this area.
It sounds like you're
So
going to, right? Because it sounds like you're about to follow Crazy J for a number of books. Or is that going to stay in the same series? Or is that just going to be like a
no,
new?
I think Crazy J in general, I'd say he'll be on his own. It'll be his
Mhm.
standalone series.
Mhm.
As for the cowboy mysterious character I've recently come
Mhm.
up with, that one is still kind of iffy. Either I might add him in the series, making it
Mm.
longer, or stand alone. I don't
So
know.
still kind of going back and forth on what works.
Yeah.
Okay, that totally makes sense. Well, like, good luck with it. Like, I love literally hearing about your stories. You have some really cool characters.
Yeah, and believe me, I, I, um, I do. Just to give you a heads up,
Hmm.
um, I do plan on um, writing about pirates,
Yeah.
um,
Woo! Well,
and
I know. So will love that.
I'm sure she will. Um, and obviously, in a I forgot. I could be writing a different series too after this of like including these new characters of one would be a demon,
Hmm.
one would be an unknown character who doesn't know who she is,
Okay.
um, doesn't know if she's a demon, angel, who exactly she is, doesn't know
Okay.
if she has powers, doesn't know nothing about herself,
Okay.
and then pirates. Um, I actually, the more I think of it, I think I might just add the cowboy in that one. That
As
might,
you're like kind of
that
talking
sounds,
it out, you're like that. That's
yeah,
probably the right one for the cowboy.
yeah, yeah.
Is this a natural? Is this like a traditional cowboy, or do we got like a cowboy of darkness? This is the cowboy. He wrangles darkness for breakfast.
This so awesome. This is for now. I'm thinking this is the kind of cowboy that used to be your normal average one, and then he gets
Mm.
cursed, and
You know, it was kind of like
he
the cowboy in did you watch the what was the video game post-apocalyptic movie or post-apocalyptic TV show they did this year? Fallout.
yeah, I was
Fallout.
about to say
Did you watch
I have
Fallout?
played no, but I have played the games. I have played the games.
I have not. Fallout's a series I haven't played, so I don't know how close the the this TV show was to the games.
Well,
But I mean, like,
I
one of the main characters is like the cowboy, like the basically the undead looking cowboy. Is that a main
yeah,
character in the games?
I mm, I think he's more of a I think he's one of the main characters, but
Oh, okay,
I
so
don't
he's
think
more like
I've
a side-ish
gotten.
character. But in
Yeah,
like in the TV show, they explore him as being like a traditional cowboy in the
yeah,
prologue scene before the world turned sideways. And
yeah,
then like you see how like the world's changed him.
yeah. But yet I will remember. I believe it was Fallout New Vegas that I played, and you ever get one of those where if you watch something animated or watch a movie and you might know somebody, the actor who's playing that character, and you go,
Mhm,
I know who that is. That dude is
mhm,
he plays as such and such in
mhm.
that show or that movie.
Yeah.
I was the same way because I was playing, I believe it was New Vegas,
Mhm.
and the voice of the main antagonist, I was like, listen to it. I was like, dude,
You're
I
like,
know who that is. It
"Oh."
was not Matt LeBlanc. It was the other one who just recently passed away. Um, he played as Chandler Bing on
Oh,
Friends.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh,
Matthew,
that's
Matthew
cool."
Perry.
Yeah, Matthew Perry, yeah,
Mhm.
because he was a fan of Fallout in the first place, and I was like,
Yeah,
"That's
there
cool, that's
there's
cool."
I think there's a whole, case now against his, drug supplier or his, like,
Yeah,
doctor or something
yeah,
like that with the yeah.
yeah. Well, Kaufman, it has been good to have you. Thank you so very much for joining us today
Of
for this very
course.
first time ever stream.
Always happy to be the guinea pig as we, try to make as many crazy voices as we can. I hope I was able to match your craziness a little bit today.
You did good. You did good.
Hey,
And
yes.
if you ever again, if you want me to still do the subscribe stuff for you, you just tell me what to say. I'll type it in there, and then you say go, and then I'll do it. I'm more than happy to do it for you.
Oh my god. I that gives me so many ideas. Let me think about it. That gives me
All
so
right,
many ideas. That's so
you
cool.
got plenty of time.
I like only thought about it when you started doing the voices because you're really good at voices. Have you ever considered
I
doing
do.
voice work before?
I have.
I
I
was
have.
like,
But if I were to ever be like an actor, I'd play heroes, but I'm more of a villain. I'd
But
be
you could
more of a
even do it for
villain.
anime. You could literally just do like voiceover work for like animated stuff, and then you just do a certain like range, and you just do different character ranges, and people would hire you for that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that anime, real quick, that reminds me where I know Soul and whatnot, and
Mhm,
they always talk about One Piece,
mhm.
but for me, nobody ever talks about the most underrated anime in the whole entire world except me and my brain. Uh, Tenchi Universe, or just the Tenchi series, Tenchi OVA, and all that. Oh my gosh, I watched that since I was a kid, and I love it.
I'm not familiar with it, but I'm not really big on anime. I enjoy
Me
it and
neither.
I watch my share, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
say that I'm like super knowledgeable. I know of a lot of the mainstream ones, but not the ones
Yeah.
that are more.
Exactly. I'm I'm
Mhm.
I'm like that too. I'm not big on anime, but when I find shows that I like Tenchi and whatnot, I am there. I will
Like
binge
I'm
watch
all
the
there.
entire series. But
Uh,
anyway, thank you so very much again for being the guinea pig of mine. Thank you so much. Any last words you would like to say?
it's been an absolute pleasure, my friend. Until next time, right now.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you, and I will go get you a cookie.
Ah, cookie, cookie.
Yes. All right. And also, ladies and gentlemen, I will link his YouTube channel in the description below. And when you want to read my books, I will link the description below from Inkit. Thank you so very much for joining me on this first ever stream of mine. If you like it, let me know or click that like button and subscribe to me to watch some more videos. We'll be back. I know this year for the season. We've only been halfway towards the season. That's why I did this in case we don't do another episode for you guys for the rest of this year. So, in case we don't, hope you all have a good year, a good rest of the year, a good Christmas, good New Year, and we will see you in May. But for now, stay awesome. Yes.